Stan Van Gundy made a controversial appearance on the Zach Lowe podcast, where he claimed that Nikola Jokic might be the best player in NBA history and that the top 75 list is flawed. Stan went on to say,
"The best 20 basketball players in history have probably played in the last 20 years, Zach. Those other guys are great, but if you took them for what they were in their time and dropped them in today's game, a lot of those guys couldn't even get in the league."
This prompted a furious response from Markieff Morris. Markieff directly addressed Stan, saying,
I respect chill, Stan. Like, you ain't been a coach in the league for a nice little minute now. He could be better than Michael Jordan, right? Jeffrey. They said Kobe wasn't better than him because he didn't win 5 rings. And the guy that won 1 ring that got a lot of stats is better than when there's no Jeffrey.
Markieff then brought up LeBron James and reminded Stan of what happened when he coached the Pistons against him. He went on to say,
"Bro, I was on that team. Yeah, he was kicking our goddamn teeth out. I was there. And it was year after year after year after year."
Morris also questioned Jokic's status in the game by bringing up his performance against Alex Caruso in the playoffs.
You think about putting Caruso on Shaq? Come on, bro. You think about putting Caruso on Kobe? You think about putting Caruso on LeBron? Michael Jordan?
It's worth noting that Markieff has quite the history with Jokic. Back in 2021, the two clashed in a game where Jokic shoved Markieff from behind, resulting in a suspension for both Jokic and Markieff. Morris had the worst of it, though, as he ended up missing 58 games due to a whiplash injury from the clash.
Not sure what set Jokic off. Oh, so Morris banging Jokic first. They'll take. Of course, you know that the Nuggets have history with the Morris brothers, particularly Marcus Morris. So a couple of checks, and we'll see how the officials sort this one out.
James Harden did not hold back after the Clippers dropped their latest game to a struggling Mavericks squad. Harden spoke to the media post-game and was blunt about the state of the team.
Different guys into how y'all want to play offensively right now.
Challenging. In what ways? Every way.
For you, I mean, you've been one of the great floor raisers that this game has ever seen. How is it more challenging than some of the other situations you've been in where you've been able to raise that floor?
I don't know. I can't call the last situations or whatever. Like, the situation here is just difficult. We're not, not making shots offensively. Defensively, we allow things that the game plan mistakes. We allow that happen too many times. So it's just one of the reasons why we lose games.
Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard also weighed in on the team's struggles. Despite his return, the Clippers haven't been able to turn things around, and Kawhi admitted that the minutes restriction might need to change if they want to win.
Well, you had mentioned after the Lakers game that you wanted to see your minutes go up. This is the second straight night where you guys have won your minutes, but you were only limited to 29. How much input have you been able to have on trying to get those bumped up?
It doesn't matter about that. They're missing their star players, and we can't get a win. We got to do it collectively, like I said before. It's all 15.
For games, because obviously back-to-back nights where when you go to the bench, the team loses the lead gets extended, you got to come in and have to try and save the game.
Like I said, it's not about that. Especially it depends what we're trying to do. If we're trying to win a championship, we need everybody. It's not about the minutes played or any of that. We're up in these games. We should be able to close it out.
Teams around the NBA are reportedly in a full-blown panic because the Oklahoma City Thunder own the LA Clippers' unprotected first-round pick. With the Clippers sitting at a disastrous 5-15 record and the Thunder sitting at 20-1, the rich are about to get richer, and rival executives are terrified. Tim MacMahon reported on the Hoop Collective podcast that the league is stunned by this reality. MacMahon went on to say,
"Where they're at, and obviously if the Thunder get that player, then just forget about it."
The league is in a panic about the Thunder having the Clippers pick. It's just I'm serious.
As we sit here,
serious about that.
As you talk.
Anthony Davis reportedly expects to be traded, and according to Jake Fisher, he also expects a massive payday. Fisher went on to say, "There is an expectation in some corners that Davis and his representation at Clutch Sports will seek a contract extension from a new team if he indeed gets dealt." Fisher broke down the numbers, adding, The year one salary in an extension would thus exceed $70 million. However, teams are hesitant for a different reason. Dallas Hoops Journal is reporting that Davis's conditioning is a major red flag. The report states, "The few teams interested in trading for Davis hope he loses weight. Teams believe Davis needs to lose weight so he can be the mobile threat he usually is." In the same vein, the Chicago Bulls are reportedly having internal discussions about a blockbuster trade for Anthony Davis. The Bulls are trying to follow the Indiana Pacers formula and believe they have their Tyrese Halliburton in Josh Giddey, and they're now searching for their Pascal Siakam. The report states that the Bulls are prepared to add to their young core and believe Davis could help the team's porous rim protection and defensive interior. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing at a level we haven't seen in nearly 60 years, and NBA legends are starting to compare him to the GOAT. Shai just extended his streak of scoring 20-plus points to 93 games in a row, the second longest streak in NBA history, trailing only Wilt Chamberlain. This historic run caught the attention of Paul Pierce, who compared SGA to the likes of Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you can clock it, bro.
You can clock 30.
You can clock it, bro.
Like I said that.
He's a well-oiled machine.
I know we had Cove, LeBron, KD, and they'll have big nights, but this dude is consistent 30s. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you don't see that type of focus or that type of hunger.
You know, I'm surprised not on this list too. Cove and Iverson.
Yeah, Iverson, I thought for sure.
Because the way they get to the line
every single game,
you know what I'm saying?
They are going to get their attempt.
Meanwhile, Shai's teammate Jalen Williams was asked about the streak and wasn't even surprised. J-Dub had this to say.
It's a very impressive streak. Of 20, you said?
Yeah. 21 before I get straight.
Dang, bro. When did that start? Last year?
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know. That's pretty insane. I think seeing him work out in the summer, seeing him work tirelessly on his body and his craft, it's not so much of a shock to me to hear that stat. It's more just like he works hard enough and he outworks a lot of the competition to where it's like almost a little bit expected. It kind of goes back to the Isaiah Joe thing I was saying, was like we probably take that for granted. And then when you say a stat like that, it kind of puts it back into perspective. But just how hard he works and trying to perfect his craft, like it also doesn't shock me.